The release of the Mario 3D All-Stars collection might mean that we get to relive some of our favourite moments from the portly Plumber's classic games. But it also means we're going to have to trawl through some of the hardest, most frustrating, and downright unforgiving levels ever committed to a game. But fear not, because we tackled all the ones that are bound to cause you to see the game over screen countless times, and devised a handy guide to help you navigate them. Let's go!
Tall Mountain is one of the later game levels that finds plenty of ways to get you raging. It's a level where falling to your doom is a constant threat, with tiny mushroom platforms for red coins, consistently slippery surfaces, and a friendly chuckya waiting for you halfway up the summit just to throw you all the way back down. Let's be honest, probably to your death. However, of all the difficult stars in Tall Mountain, the trickiest, or at least the most irritating one, has to be Blast to the Lonely Mushroom. You'll see early on in the level this solitary mushroom sporting a star way outside of the level, and you may be tempted to jump for it, though I wouldn't recommend it. Now, as the title of the star suggests, there is a way to unlock a cannon that involves dropping down to a couple of extremely obscure ledges to firstly unlock and then find the cannon. Once you've got to it, you need to line yourself up for the blast. However, there's no wing cap here. If you miss this shot, you're not just missing the star, but you're heading out for a good long drop into oblivion. The chances of you getting this first time are slim at best, so unless you fancy a lot of trial and error, here's my tip for you. If you head around the mountain normally, you'll eventually come to a flying Shy Guy. If you jump on a flying Shy Guy in Mario 64, you'll propel yourself up into the sky and slowly begin floating down in a spinning fashion. You'll have plenty of time to direct yourself to the platform, landing softly and oh so neatly right in front of your star.
One of the most satisfying aspects of any 3D Mario game is being able to leap and flip at breakneck speeds once you've mastered the controls, but this shine has you taking things slowly. A giant watermelon is required down at the cabana in the Gelato Beach area, and you'll have to roll it down methodically, being careful not to apply too much force or push it into any spiky obstacles along the way. It would seem simple enough if not for the abundance of cataquacks lining the beaches with an insatiable appetite for round fruit. Avoiding the cataquacks is, of course, your best bet for making it safely to the goal, but it can prove difficult, and so some players prefer to try and take as many of them out as possible before even starting with the watermelon rolling itself. Make it through to the pier and you'll have to channel your inner Super Monkey Ball in order to safely roll the rotund fruit to the juicer. I hope that taste was worth it.
Now, here is an infuriating one. With only 30 seconds to blow up piles of trash, literally every bomb and moment counts, or you'll be starting all over again. There's not much to this beyond maybe a little bit of luck, but some tips may help you save some time in this painstaking challenge. First up, this challenge is a lot easier when you remember that a single bomb can blow up more than one pile of trash. Position each bomb to take out as many piles as possible to save yourself from having to throw more. Secondly, in the final moments, things are much easier if you place a bomb next to one that is about to explode. When a bomb goes off, it sets off any other bombs within its blast radius, meaning you don't have to wait for the second one to blow up as well. So a tight formation of bombs could be the key to finally destroying all the trash in time and nabbing this particularly tough star.
One of the most notorious levels from Sunshine, the Sunbird Red Coin challenge is one that many fans look back on with a fair amount of disdain. In theory, it doesn't seem like too much of a tall order, but staying atop the back of this Minecraft-esque sand creature is certainly easier said than done. first 7 coins aren't too difficult to grab, dotted around the blocky bird's wings and tail, but in order to get the shine, you'll have to stay on its back until it reaches the top of a large tower and in turn the 8th coin, enduring a grueling 90-degree tilt along the way. To be in with the best chance of staying on course, run to the wing edge as the bird starts to move and you begin sliding, using flood to then quickly hover onto the inside of the bird's body. If we only had that wing cap, eh?
Of all the coin collecting levels in Super Mario Galaxy, Luigi's purple coin seems to bring up the most painful memories for most players. Platforms either flip or disappear every time you step on them, and many coins are placed over the abyss, so you'll have to pull off some pretty tricky maneuvers to grab that star. Mercifully, you only have to collect 100 out of the available 150 stars, but that is still a decent challenge. First of all, you will want to nail down the long jump between platforms, as this will net you a whole host of coins, most of which are dangling above large gaps. You'll also need to make sure you leave yourself a route back to the starting platform, as when you do nab 100 purple coins, the star will appear in the location you started on. Finally, this whole thing will be much easier if you make liberal use of your spin jump. Every time you touch a green platform, it's gone for good, so the more time you spend in the air, the more platforms you have to work with. Good luck, you're gonna need it.
Tick-Tock Clock's vertical world could be the most notorious level in the game, not only for how difficult it is, but also for the elements of complexity introduced in its setup. Depending on at what time the clock is showing when you enter the level, all of the inner workings of the clock world will be operating at varying speeds or stopped completely. Most of the stars can be achieved when the clock is at any speed, but there are certainly preferences for each. Stop the Thwomp sees you having to make your way to the very top of the level, so having some movement to the clock's parts is pretty key, unless you're a wall-kicking legend, which I am definitely not. So to keep the parts moving, but moving slowly, you'll want to enter the level with the minute hand at 3 o'clock. Now this level is full of shifting blocks, awkward perspectives, and even invisible walls that I've seen drive speedrunners crazy. There's a rhythm to the movement of the level that can be predicted, so the key to nailing this level is simply to take your time. Move your camera to give yourself the best view that you can, and always remember to use your ground pound ability to stop a jump getting out of hand, because it's a long, long way down. Once you make it to the top, you'll ride the clock hand round to the Thwomp, jump up on his head, and then reach your star. Just be careful with your backflip on the treadmill that you don't get crushed at the last second.
A gimmick level inspired by the arcadey gambling machines named Pachinko that are extremely popular in Japan, this Sunshine level should, in theory, be a fun change of pace from the normal platforming and aquatic acrobatics. The level is instead known infamously as being extremely difficult to master based on skill, due to the game's camera and typically watertight platforming not responding well to being fired into a game within a game. Once you've launched yourself to the top of the pinball table, the trick here is to use flood in order to hover over the desired platforms, falling safely to collect the 8 red coins. Unfortunately, however, the game's platforming mechanics don't lend themselves well to being flung around as a human projectile, and so the stage ends up being often as luck-based as pachinko machines themselves. Better still, a bottomless pit looming underneath the machine means that if you fail to land safely, you'll have to restart the entire process. You might not be gambling any money on this pachinko machine, but you certainly risk losing your patience.
Rainbow Ride is the 15th and final course available in Mario 64, and despite its brightly coloured aesthetic, it does a fantastic job of making you hate everything about yourself before you finish off the game. Unlike every other level in Mario 64, Rainbow Ride is an on-the-rails experience, where Mario has to perform some incredibly tight jumping, taking into account 64's already non-user-friendly camera system. Everything in the level is trying to kill you. The carpets disappear if you stay off them for too long, the donut platforms fall into the vast blue nothingness that's seen so many a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed player reach ferociously for the off switch. There are spinning platforms, tilting platforms, there are fire traps, as well as bob-ombs, goombas, and even Lakitu's out in force with his spinies. It's really a fun time. Now, getting to the end of the level is in itself a challenge. so try collecting the 100 gold coins necessary for the level's secret star. You don't need every coin in the level to make it to 100, in fact it has a generous 146 available, but some of the coins you'll need are ridiculously hard to reach, so pick your path carefully. For a solid advantage, make sure you go for the blue coin challenge, performing well-timed wall jumps to quickly reach the top and give yourself a 30 coin boost. You'll need the coolest of composures for this one, as it constantly has you feeling in danger, but you'll never have earned a star more.
Here we go!
In this anxiety-fueling level, Mario must beat multiple enemies and rising lava to climb to the top of a volcano. Oh, and you cannot take a single hit. It's important to remember that this is not a timed level, so unless you're on a sinking platform, you can take a couple of seconds to learn the timing of obstacles and avoid getting killed by gas vents. Secondly, don't even bother with enemies. Though they can be annoying, if you're moving quickly enough through the level, then you shouldn't be coming into contact with them, and it's not worth risking your single slither of health.
And that was the 9 hardest levels in Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Have you played the game yet, and what are the hardest levels you've come across? Let us know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.